4 days later. It takes me ages to calculate these wretched Earth days. Oh dear, I'm in trouble with our boss over part of my plan and have to make a number of changes to it. I need to ensure that the son, now nearly 8 months developed in his mother's uterus, is fit and ready for the long journey south. After all, it is important for numerous reasons that he is born in Bethlehem and not halfway down the Jordan Valley as a result of the poor child constantly bumping up and down on Joseph's donkey. I am pleased to say that we did manage to arrange a new donkey for him. His old one was very old. There is very little useful information available on the subject of fetal moods, even if you look across a good few centuries. Failing in my research, I called up Firmian, an angelic expert in human children. I asked him to speak to the unborn son, a spiritual conversation, not a human one, and find out how he felt about the prospect of a couple of weeks on the back of a donkey. My boss summoned me to his office as soon as he saw what we were doing. He claims that it is unnecessary interference, that it is not normal for a human fetus to engage in spiritual dialogue with a heavenly being. I pointed out, in my defence, that spirituality comes naturally to human children and is only later starved out of them by adult relationships. But my boss insisted that we were overstepping the boundary of normal experience against his directions for this particular project. My son must grow up as a totally normal human being, and I will not allow any compromises in the natural process of his life on earth. I said, and I didn't get any further. Moses may have argued with his God and won, but that is not within reach of angels, even archangels. I did wonder whether I should raise the matter of Sephram's mission to secure a safe room in Bethlehem and asked if that counted as interference. But as he didn't mention it, neither did I. The trouble is that I've spent goodness knows how much effort putting systems into place to protect the life of my boss's son. Now I have to review every single one of them to make sure we do not step over his invisible line. And yet this whole project has to work. And if it is to work, the child has to survive at least into adulthood. I know that the boss is an expert at bringing good out of all manner of disaster, but I cannot see that he'll be able to do much with a stillbirth in some gloomy back street of Jericho. 6 days later. Joseph may be a worrier, but when he's under pressure, he is as safe a pair of hands as you could want any son to be held in. He and Mary set off today, their fit young donkey piled high with provisions. He's even allowed for 2 rest days in Tiberias and Jericho. For a while, the noble carpenter was considering the short routes through Samaria, which set me panicking. However, even though he could not hear every angel within a week's radius shouting, "Don't you dare!" he dropped the crazy idea. Mary and Joseph are accompanied by an unseen entourage of 5 angels. The usual guardians for mum and stepdad, Firmian, the paediatrician, Hagog, who, believe it or not, helped the son to design the common donkey and is on hand to keep a close eye on Joseph's beast, and Maphriel. Maphriel is the team leader, a brilliant angel who insists, unfortunately, on being called Maph. He will act as guardian for Jesus once he's born, and he will report directly to me. All 5 are under strict instructions that they must not intervene in any situation without my permission. Archangel Michael is shadowing their movements with a small detachment of fighting angels, just in case there's trouble from the opposition. I'm aware of opposition eyes watching, but I suspect they are biding their time, waiting to see what my boss is up to. Next morning. Time for a quick note while Mary and Joseph wash and then eat breakfast. What a nuisance this eating business must be for you humans. Yesterday went smoothly. They made their way down the Galilean hills towards the lake that gives the hills their name. Mary walked a fair distance on the grassy downhill sections, and they arrived in a tiny village for supper. Today they hope to reach the lakeside town of Tiberias, where they will stay and rest, as tomorrow is the Sabbath. Most travellers pass straight through these little fishing communities. The Jews, by and large, do not like the sea and are suspicious of those who make their living on it. The first rest day. Mary and Joseph are staying in a homely lakeside inn in the centre of Tiberias. This afternoon they took a gentle walk along the shore of the lake. Mary even ventured a short distance into the water to cool her swollen feet, much to the amusement of the group of fishermen who were relaxing near their boats. When the couple had returned to their room, Maff nipped up to see me in my office. He informed me that Mary is anxious that her labour might begin while they are miles from the nearest village. She is not the only one.